What the heck is this? That old man is the vice master of the Lilai Mountain Villa, Bui Kuzai. With a look of skepticism, Bui frowned and asked, are you sure you aren't mistaken? Isn't this brat just a 5-star martial disciple? Bui Menveen gritted his teeth and replied, he's just pretending to be weak to catch his prey. Even Father was fooled. He must have a treasure on him that suppresses his cultivation. After saying this, he took out a jade pendant and exclaimed anxiously, look, Father, it's him. Bui Kuzai glanced at the jade pendant and immediately felt a vague aura locking onto Lai Yunxiao. His expression darkened instantly, and he said coldly, Brett, are you the city lord of Yanwu City, Lai Yunxiao? Lai Yunxiao let out a faint snort and replied calmly, what's the matter? Do you want my autograph? Asterisk PFFT exclamation asterisk Zhang Yubing, who was pretending to be aloof while drinking, nearly choked upon hearing that, her eyes bulging and her cheeks puffing out as if she had just swallowed a chili pepper. Lai Yunxiao deliberately glared and shouted, Brother Bing, what is the meaning of that laugh? Is my autograph that ugly? Zhang Yubing wanted to faint on the spot. She hadn't expected him to turn her own tactics against her so quickly. She hurriedly shook her head and said, I didn't mean that, it's just. Lai Yunxiao stared and barked, if you didn't mean that, what did you mean? I clearly saw that you didn't mean it. If you don't explain to me what you meant today, I'll show you what it really means. Bye. Zhang Yubing stammered, unable to form a sentence. Having been pampered like a fragile egg since childhood, no one had ever dared to talk back to her. When it came to a battle of wits against Lai Yunxiao's annoying mouth, she was a total failure from the start. Asterisk cough, puff. Asterisk Liu Qingyan let out a cough and said, Brother Bing, don't mind him. This guy was born with a mouth as sharp as a high-grade magical artifact. Bui Kuzai stood by, his expression turning as cold as thousand-year ice. He said in a deep voice, the younger generation these days knows less and less about the vastness of the world. An elder asks a question, yet you don't even know how to lower your head and answer respectfully. Have you swallowed your basic manners? Not showing respect to your elders often lends people in the ground staring at the sky. It seems I must teach you a free lesson on behalf of your parents today. The Emperor Kai around him condensed rapidly, directly blanketing the entire table. Even the table where the 5 little snow figures sat felt as if an entire mountain was pressing down on them. The group changed color in unison, their nerves stretched to the limit in defense. Once a martial emperor powerhouse made a move, they wouldn't even have a path to escape. Only Lai Yunxiao remained as calm as ever, appearing completely unaffected. He smiled faintly and said, there are some people who never understand that dignity isn't something others give you. It's something you earn yourself. Bui Kuzai's face turned as cold as an ice cellar, and the Emperor Kai round him surged violently. He said grimly, you certainly have a tough attitude, but I wonder if your bones are as tough as that mouth of yours. Lai Yunxiao raised his eyebrows in surprise and laughed, even the tone is exactly the same. Now I believe you really are Bui Menveen's parent. No sooner had he finished speaking than he struck out with his right hand. The beam of light instantly shot out in all directions, and the temperature nearby plummeted as if falling into a frozen abyss. The bone-cold sword appeared as a result. Liu Qingyan's heart skipped a beat. Isn't that the sword the star-refining sect snatched in Mount Sumeru? Now that it's in Lai Yunxiao's hands, it doesn't take much to guess that the former owner has probably long since passed away. The bone-cold sword emitted chilling ice flowers. Lai Yunxiao thrust it deep into the ground, instantly tearing through all the Emperor Kai that was pressing in from the surroundings. Bui Kuzai was deeply shaken, his eyes filled with obvious dread. Lai Yunxiao's sword was clearly a genuine ninth-grade profound weapon at a glance. Moreover, the single strike proved that the opponent was definitely not some martial disciple trash. He was at least at the martial venerable level. Currently, Yanwu City had become a land of spiritual treasures, no less significant than the 7 superforces. Previously, the collapse of Mount Sumeru had drawn out 2 titled martial emperors, and even the Holy Domain's iron orders had appeared. Because of this, countless powerhouses had to swallow their greed. If Lai Yunxiao really had a titled martial emperor backing him, then let alone him, even if the entire Lilai Mountain Villa came, they wouldn't dare to touch him. Even the Hanu city of the past was nearly wiped off the continent for offending a titled martial emperor. Bui Kuzai's expression became extremely ugly. He could neither advance nor retreat. Finally, he could only say angrily, you do have some skill. In consideration of the fact that it's not easy for you juniors to cultivate, I'll be lazy and not bully the young. You hand over the method to undo the seal for my son, and I'll turn a blind eye to today's events. Bui Menveen also roared, that's right. Don't think that just because you have a 9th-grade profound weapon, you can belittle the majesty of a 9th heaven martial emperor. Lai Yunxiao looked at Bui Menveen with a mocking smile and said, before, I told you to go and inquire about the East Sea Moon Pearl. How far has your investigation gone? Bui Menveen's expression immediately choked as if he had eaten a raw bit of melon. He suddenly didn't know how to respond without feeling embarrassed. The smile on Lai Yunxiao's face gradually disappeared, and he said coldly, it seems you have broken your promise. The most important thing for a person is integrity. You can break your word, but I cannot. I clearly stated that the pearl would be exchanged for lifting the seal. If I lift the seal for you now, wouldn't I be the type of person who doesn't keep his word? Life and death are trivial matters, but failing in one's integrity is a major catastrophe. Everyone hearing this was stunned as if struck by lightning. Seeing that Lai Yunxiao wasn't afraid in the slightest, Bui Kuzai became even more hesitant, while simultaneously becoming more convinced of the conjecture in his mind. This brat definitely had a backing as solid as a meteorite. He didn't dare to kill him now, but it was also inconvenient to retreat. He was truly stuck in a dilemma, like sitting on an anthill. Forget it, I'll just capture this guy first and force him to lift the seal later. If he really has a terrifying background, it won't be too late to release him then. Bui Kuzai calculated to himself. This figure instantly lunged forward, roaring as he grabbed directly toward Lai Yunxiao. Just as Bui Kuzai attacked like lightning, Lai Yunxiao pulled Zhang Yubing and Little Snow aside, while Liu Qingyan hurriedly scooped up Nalanjai Tine to dodge out of the combat zone. Nalanjai Tine shouted, Villa Master Bui, you are a dignified 9th heaven martial emperor and an Eastern region senior. How can you be so shameless as to strike a junior? Jang Yuobing also scolded coldly. In this Hanu city, no one is allowed to act willfully. Hearing the Junu say this, Bui Kuzai laughed dismissively and said, when I hadn't stepped in, someone was boasting that they didn't fear Hanu city. Why are you dragging out the name of Hanu city to pressure me now? Jang Yuobing replied coldly, I'm not afraid because I have the ability not to be, while you are brazenly causing trouble, which is stepping on the rules of Hanu city. Bui Kuzai's veins bulged as he said grimly, you arrogant juniors who don't know the vastness of the world, do you think the rules of Hanu city must change because of you? I am the vice master of Leelai Mountain Villa. So what if I break the rules occasionally? The Emperor Kai in his hand began to condense. The aura became increasingly terrifying, and immediately afterward, he threw a punch straight out. Watch out! Jang Yuobing screamed involuntarily. Seeing that the punch was about to hit Lai Yingxiao, she was so anxious that her heart felt like it would jump out of her chest. Contrary to her panicked appearance, Lai Yingxiao leisurely raised his finger and pointed at his eyes, signaling her to keep her eyes wide open and watch the show. HMPH. A cold grunt suddenly echoed in midair, followed by the appearance of a flicker. With a mere flick of his fingers, the fiery red fist horror exploded and dissipated instantly in the sky. Bui Kuzai was terrified and lost his composure. He stayed at the fitta before him, whose face was as cold as ice, and the vague aura of murderous intent radiating from him sent a chill down his spine. Who are you? Bui Kuzai was startled and went on high alert, fearing a sneak attack he couldn't defend against. The man spoke calmly, follow me to the Hanu city dungeon. Bui Kuzai breathed a sigh of relief, realizing it was someone from Hanu city. That made the situation much easier to handle. He offered a strained, unsightly smile and said, so it is an official from Hanu city. May I ask your name? The man remained emotionless and coldly replied, the rules of Hanu city do indeed vary depending on who you are. I have never denied that. For instance, if an expert from the sanctuary, the transformation sea, or a titled martial emperor comes here, we wouldn't bother them even if they felt like killing a few people. To put it bluntly, we wouldn't have the strength to stop them anyway. But as for you, you aren't qualified. Follow me to the dungeon immediately. Bui Kuzai hurriedly spoke, I am the vice mana master of the glazed mana. Bui Kuzai. In Hanu city, my wife is also. Enough, the man said, waving his hand to interrupt him. Listen, if you haven't reported to the dungeon within half an incense stick's time, you die. If you dare to cause any more trouble within that time, you also die. The word die struck Bui Kuzai's heart like a heavy hammer, turning his face paper white. The very next moment, the figure vanished completely, leaving not a single trace, as if he had never existed at all. Father, this. How are we supposed to handle this? Bui Menveen was so stunned he was frozen in place. He said indignantly, Hanu city may be powerful, but they have absolutely no respect for our glazed manor. You are a vice mana master, and I am one of the 7 stars of the Eastern Territory. This is truly going too far. Shut up. Bui Kuzai growled, his face turning livid, and blazed at him fiercely. Hundreds of eyes were now staring at them, and he feared news of today's disgrace would soon spread everywhere. At that moment, he recalled the words Lai Yingxiao had once spoken. Reputation is not given by others, but thrown away by oneself. The more he thought about it, the more he felt those words hit home. Pale-faced, he looked at Bui Menveen and said, quickly send a message to your mother. Tell her to beg for an audience with the mistress of the Jiang family, Lady Nguyen Hanguk, and have her help me get released as soon as possible. With that, he turned into a streak of light and vanished. Everyone knew he was rushing to the Hanu city dungeon. There was no need to guess. The entire building immediately erupted into bursts of laughter and mockery. The glazed manor was truly worthy of being called the local tyrant of the Eastern Territory. His movement technique was as fast as if he were fleeing from a ghost. In the blink of an eye, he was gone, and at that speed, he had probably reached the dungeon in a flash. That Hanu city official really looked down on Vice Mana Master Bui. He was actually generous enough to give him half an incense stick's time. How compassionate. I hear the Hanu city dungeon is filled with the most vicious criminals and lacks a single woman all year round. Imagine the soft and delicate Master Bui in there. At that moment, someone started strumming a lute and singing, the chrysanthemums with a, how pitiful. The smile has faded, falling for the broken-hearted. Fine, very fine. Bui Menveen knew his reputation had been completely dragged through the mud. He gritted his teeth and said, I have memorized the faces of every single one of you. Once I leave Hanu city, I will settle the score with each of you. He turned to look at Lai Yingxiao and said, Lai Yingxiao, I still hope you will remove the seal on me. Everyone had a small misunderstanding, but that is in the past. Why keep clinging to it like a vengeful spirit? You should think about the long-term future. Lathain Van, Nablan Kai Tine, and Kuang En Yuok Bang remained silent. It seemed that to be one of the 7 stars of the Eastern Territory, one needed not only strength but also a face as thick as a city wall and shamelessness that would make even ghosts shake their heads. Lai Yingxiao seemed unfazed and said with a faint smile, Brother Bui, that seal doesn't actually affect your cultivation. However, if it isn't removed within 7 days, your masculine vigor will gradually weaken, and eventually, you won't even be able to get it up. By then, Brother Bui will be a one-of-a-kind 7-star of the Eastern Territory, unique in the world. What? Give. Bui Menveen's face turned as pale as a corpse, and he said with a trembling voice, You are truly venomous. Lai Yingxiao laughed and said, If I were truly venomous, I wouldn't have given you a few days' time. 7 days is enough for you to prepare the funeral arrangements for the Bui family. Do your best. Bui Menveen's eyes were filled with malice as he gritted his teeth and said, Very well, I hope you won't regret this later. I will send word to my mother. She and Lady Nguyen Hanguk are relatives, and she will surely be able to provide great assistance. I hope you won't go back on your word then. Having said that, he turned and fled the building as if being chased by a ghost. Tuthan, having narrowly escaped a disaster, began chatting with Lai Yingxiao's group, while Cat Binfai had long since been so embarrassed that he dared not look up and slipped away like a wisp of blue smoke. Lathan Ban smiled and said, Brother Tu, you can stay here to recover for a while. Perhaps you will achieve a good ranking in the tournament. Even if you can't win the beauty's hand, at least you can exchange moves with the heroes of the world. Naplan Kaitai nodded and said, Big brother lies right. Although this is a martial arts competition for a husband, it is essentially a gathering of young geniuses from all over the world. It would be a huge regret to miss such a lively event. Tuing and Uek Bang huffed coldly. You men have nothing better to do than to take someone else's lifelong affairs and turn them into entertainment. It gives me goosebumps. If you didn't want to get married, why bother coming? Beside her, the maid little Tai covered her mouth and giggled. Young master is so angry for no reason. It's not that they don't want to get married. They just don't have the ability. Tu Fan said in a low voice. Perhaps I held those thoughts before, but, he gave a bit of laugh and continued. After meeting brother Yung Xiao, I realized how shallow I was. Now I know I was just a frog at the bottom of a well looking at the sky from the mouth of the jar. Although I suffered quite a loss this time, I also gained a great deal. I plan to return to the listening Tai Pavilion to vendor secluded meditation, and I will not come out until I have stepped into the realm of the nine heavens martial emperor. This cup of wine, I toast to you all. Each of us works our own path, yet under 1,000 miles of clouds and wind, we still face the same direction. Seeing that he had made up his mind, the others did not try to keep him, so they raised the cups and drank together, after which Tu Fan turned and left. By this time, the shopkeeper had ordered people to clean up the mess left by Bui Kuzai. Lai Yingxiao's group of 5 sat down elsewhere. Naplan Kai Tien suddenly said with a serious face, That's right, big brother La, you once said you wanted to bring my younger brother to see young master Yingxiao, and you also said that only young master Yingxiao in all of Hanu City could help with this matter. I truly don't understand. Although young master Yingxiao's strength is unfathomable, but, La Than Van glanced at everyone and said, Lai Yingxiao's strength is indeed not the greatest in Hanu City, but he possesses something no one else can match. He has the audacity to move heaven and earth. After thinking it over, he is the only one who would dare to do that. In an instant, the eyes of the 4 people fixed upon Lai Yingxiao, giving him goosebumps. He hurriedly said, What kind of crazy thing are you talking about? I don't read many books, so don't dig a hole and trick me into jumping in. La Than Van laughed. What are you thinking? This matter is as simple as eating a steamed bun. You just need to take the younger brother out of Hanu City, that's all. As for the reward, you can name your price. Queuing in Yuek Bang was visibly tense, her face full of anticipation. Lai Yingxiao was also slightly taken aback. He thought to himself, Does this little girl really want to elope? If she runs away, how will Hanu City face the world? Even a peak martial emperor would have a headache from this. But my relationship with Hanu City is already like fire and water, and I don't intend to mend it in this lifetime. If I really have to help, I can just hide Queuing in Yuek Bang in the divine steel, and even if an immortal descended to the mortal world, they wouldn't find her. Thinking this, he smiled and said, This is truly a life-risking gamble, and you say you aren't digging a hole to bury me. However, if you are willing to give me the 18 East Sea Moonlight Pearls from the wedding gift of the second young lady of the Queuing family, then I can take the risk. Queuing and Yuek Bang exclaimed, What do you need those pearls for? Besides being pretty, they have no real use. Just help me, and after we succeed, I will reward you with something far more precious than those pearls. La Than Van also lowered his voice. Those 18 East Sea Moonlight Pearls are already on the list of wedding gifts for the second young lady. Taking them out is like trying to find a needle in the ocean. Lai Yingxiao, were you just making excuses because you don't want to help? Lai Yingxiao replied calmly, If I really wanted to make excuses, I would have directly demanded the title of the tournament's first place. By then, wouldn't both the heaven-defying wedding gifts and the peerless beauty fall into my hands? HMPH. Keep dreaming. Queuing and Yuek Bang said, Young geniuses from everywhere are gathering here, the 7 stars of the Eastern Territory, the 5 heroes of the Western Territory, the 4 talents of the Northern Territory, plus countless descendants of great families. You think you can defeat all the heroes of the world and win the first place spot just by yourself? Hearing the disdainful tone, Lai Yingxiao didn't get angry. He just laughed heartily and said, I dare not think it. I truly dare not think it. Napline Kai Tien laughed bitterly. It's a pity the second young lady is truly blessed but doesn't realize it. So many monstrously talented men in the world have gathered in Hanu City for her to choose from. I am so envious I could turn into a ghost. Her eyes revealed a touch of longing and desire. Whether she was sincere or just teasing, she said, Rumor has it that some young geniuses have broken through to the level of the 9th heaven martial emperor, something not even world-renowned old monsters can necessarily achieve. If I could truly marry such a man, I would have no regrets in this life. Zhang Yuobin chuckled softly. With your appearance and beauty, coupled with this rare primordial constitution, not only would the youths be captivated, but I fear even those old men hiding in the deep mountains would want to crawl out to compete. It might even cause the leaders of the 7 superforces to fight tooth and nail, only for some old Foji from the holy sanctuary to snatch you away. Just the thought of it makes me laugh until my sides hurt. Lai Yingxiao suddenly spoke up, Brother Liu, among the betrothal gifts this time is a dragon secret treasure. With your true dragon Dharma body, if you were to obtain and refine it, you could likely break through the martial venerable shackles and step into the 9th heaven realm in one go. Surely you aren't unmoved by that. Yuo King replied with a bitter smile, Of course I'm moved. If I were to obtain the dragon secret treasure and merge it with my body, even if I haven't reached the martial emperor realm, I would have the confidence to fight a martial emperor to the ends of the earth. Bright brilliance flashed in his eyes. It was clear he cared deeply about the dragon secret treasure. The little maid, Zhu, suddenly chimed in, Brother Liu, wanting to break through to the martial emperor realm isn't actually difficult. If Miss Nalan is willing to lend a hand, everything would naturally flow into place. Nalan Jiyun's cheeks immediately flushed with shyness. She angrily scolded, Little brother Bing, your study companion has even learned to tease others now. I see that you've been corrupted by him as well. Zhang Yuobing laughed loudly and said, Zhu isn't run. If Sister Nalan is willing to help Brother Liu, a single instance of dual cultivation would be enough for him to enter the martial emperor realm immediately. By then, he might even seize first place in the arena battles. Nalan Jiyun blushed and scolded playfully, Little brother Bing, Are you suggesting that I share one husband with the second Miss Jiang? Upon hearing this, Jiang Yuobing froze. She hadn't expected the conversation to circle back to herself. She immediately blushed to the tips of her ears and shouted, "You are absolutely detestable. I must beat you both to vent my anger." The two began to chase each other, laughing and frolicking as if no one else were around. Lai Yingxiao smiled and said, "That suggestion isn't bad at all. I completely agree. I only hope that after Brother Luo wins first place, he will gift those 18 EC Bright Moon Pearls to me." Luo Qingyan blazed at him and snorted coldly, "If I obtain the betrothal gifts, the first thing I will do is crush those 18 pearls into powder and swallow them whole." Just then, a faint sigh was heard. "Little brother Bing, you should come home with me. Big brother and Aunt are both very worried about you." Everyone present immediately changed their expressions. Several figures suddenly appeared in a corner of the tower, standing silently and looking toward Jiang Yuobing. Each was young, handsome, and elegantly dressed, with an imposing aura like young masters stepping out of a painting. Lately, so many young geniuses had appeared that it was dizzying, but these individuals possessed extraordinary bearing and heroic spirits. There were clearly signs of great families here to participate in the arena battles. The youth leading them was from the Nguyen family of Hanu City, Nguyen Zilang. He spoke, "Little brother Bing, come home with me obediently and stop causing trouble." Jiang Yuobing replied coldly, "Who are you? Get out of here. Whether I go back or not has nothing to do with you." Nalan Jiyuan was stunned for a moment before saying with a bitter smile, "So it is young Master Zilang." Nguyen Zilang nodded slightly and replied, "Many thanks to Miss Nalan for taking care of little brother Bing during this time." He glanced at Luo Qingyan and Lai Yingxiao, who were sitting nearby, his eyes filled with clear disdain and disgust. He said, "However, Miss Nalan, as a friend of little brother Bing, it is best not to let him associate with such nameless, trashy people. After all, the difference in status is too vast. It avoids having certain toads thinking they have turned into dragons, harboring unrealistic fantasies and building castles in the air." Nalan Jiyuan's expression immediately turned cold. She said in an icy tone, "I'm not as noble as young Master Zilang, and my acquaintances are all vulgar and trashy, so there is truly nothing I can do about it." Nguyen Zilang remained as calm as before and said slowly, "If that is the case, then I hope Miss Jiyuan will limit her interactions with little brother Bing in the future. Nguyen Zilang, take your lackeys and get out of here." Jiang Yuobing shouted angrily, "Whether I associate with anyone is not for you to manage. Brother Luo and brother Yingxiao are my friends. Shut your filthy mouth." Nguyen Zilang's face changed slightly, but he did not get angry. He just smiled and said, "All right, let's assume I misspoke. Little brother Bing, come home with me. Big brother and Aunt are truly worried about you." Jiang Yuobing replied coldly, "They are worried about me, so what does that have to do with you? Didn't you hear me tell you to get lost?" "Pahar, brother Zilang, this little brother Bing has truly been spoiled rotten by you all." The young master standing next to Nguyen Zilang laughed and stepped forward. He slowly said, "If that's the case, I'll take her back myself." This youth with the effeminate features was one of the 5 heroes of the western region, Qingyan of the Myriad Star Valley. "What are you supposed to be?" Jiang Yuobing turned around and swung her sword casually. The cold air erupted from the precious sword, transforming into countless sharp ice thorns that struck forward. Lai Yingxiao looked slightly surprised. The sword move was clearly an imitation of the ice lotus sword technique he had used earlier. He hadn't expected this little girl's comprehension to be terrifyingly high. Having only seen it once, she had already learned 7 or 8 parts of its essence. Qingyan's pupils contracted slightly. He laughed loudly. "Pahar, little brother Bing is indeed brilliant. The sword technique is truly beautiful." Nguyen Zilang hesitated for a moment before saying, "Brother Qingyan, remember not to hurt little brother Bing. Explode for me." Qingyan let out a long laugh, and the ice peony in his hand instantly exploded. Countless small golden needles scattered like rain in all directions. Jiang Yuobing's expression changed in horror. She quickly flashed away to dodge the golden needles, while drawing her long sword, intending to continue her attack. Qingyan deployed his ghostly footwork, passing directly through Jiang Yuobing's sword aura and stepping out lightly. The entire process happened in a flash. A ray of light immediately struck Jiang Yuobing on the shoulder, causing her body to stiffen on the spot, unable to move at all. Qingyan laughed loudly. "Little brother Bing, it is better to come back with me obediently. Before, I really had no interest in you, but now I find you extremely interesting. Pahar, remember my face. When we get to the arena, the winner will definitely be me." Nalan Jiyuan shouted angrily, "Qingyan, you are truly bold, daring to injure little brother Bing." Qingyan glanced at Nalan Jiyuan, a strange glint appearing in his pupils. He said slowly, "So you are the one who possesses the primordial yin body of the Silver Moon sect, and has cultivated the Virgin's primal embryo technique to completion." He looked at her like a merchant assessing a rare commodity, his eyes scanning her up and down repeatedly. He grinned and said, "You can come with me as well." Just as he was about to fly over, he suddenly heard Lai Yingxiao sigh, "Brother Luo, I truly admire you this time. I never expected your patience to be even greater than mine. How exactly do you train for this?" Luo Qingyan's face remained as calm as a winter lake, appearing completely unaffected by what had just occurred. He said quietly, "I was just waiting for you to make a move." Lai Yingxiao replied with a bitter smile, "Why don't you make a move yourself instead of pretending to be a cold, expert master?" In Lai Qingyan's eyes, a cold killing intent flashed. He gritted his teeth and said, "Because I'm afraid I won't be able to hold back. Once I strike, I'll send them all directly to the afterlife. I don't want to court trouble, so I've been patient." Lai Yingxiao clutched his forehead and sighed. "So you want to push this trouble onto me, don't you?" Lai Qingyan nodded and replied, "You've always been the type who doesn't know the meaning of fear when it comes to trouble." Lai Yingxiao was so frustrated he wanted to cry and laugh at the same time. Shaking his head, he said, "Fine, this time I really am rendered speechless by you. It looks like I have no choice but to shoulder this disaster." The conversation between the two immediately caught the attention of Qingyan's group. Qingyan's gaze was tightly locked onto the two of them, especially on Lai Qingyan. This person made him feel as endangered as if he were standing before a sleeping beast, whereas he treated Lai Yingxiao as if he didn't exist. A 5-star martial lord like this could be swatted dead by the hundreds with just one palm strike. Brother Zillang, the rules of Red Moon City don't seem to allow starting trouble randomly, do they? Chengyan said coldly. Clearly, they still had some reservations about Red Moon City's regulations. Yuan Zillang chuckled softly. Sometimes there are exceptions, Brother Chengyan. This isn't called starting trouble. It's called gallantly stepping in to save my relative. Zhang Yuobing hurriedly shouted. Yuan Zillang, if you dare touch even a single hair on them, I will definitely have my master kill all of you. Yuan Zillang seemed to remember something, and his expression suddenly changed. He immediately spoke up. Brother Chengyan. Chengyan replied coldly. Rest assured, Brother Zillang. Since your relative has spoken, I will simply teach them a small lesson so these common toads understand what their status is. A swirling current like the surging yellow river appeared in his hand. After taking a step, his silhouette seemed to separate from heaven and earth, becoming transcendent. Lacking and made him feel slightly wary. So as soon as he struck, he used a secret technique from 10,000 Star Valet, first palm of rising tides. Lacking and remained seated motionless, arms crossed over his chest, the expression in his eyes unwavering, as calm as a dead lake. Meanwhile, Chengyan's pupils suddenly constricted sharply, and a flash of anger lit up his eyes from the feeling of being treated as invisible as air. He added more primordial force to his palm, almost unleashing 12/10 of his full strength. Though he initially said he would only teach them a lesson, he had now thrown that out of his mind, wanting only to strike the person before him dead with one palm. Right then, the bone-chilling sensation rose in his heart, as gusts of freezing wind swept in from all directions like vengeful spirits demanding a life. In an instant, Chengyan found his body nearly frozen solid, with a type of low energy swirling around him. The martial skill he had just unleashed felt like a withered leaf in the middle of a storm, like a tattered boat amidst raging waves. It could be ground into dust at any moment. Heaven and earth stir with wind and clouds, and all follow my will. Lai Yunxiao struck out with a single palm, devoid of any flamboyance, a strike as gentle as a spring breeze brushing past a face. But in Chengyan's eyes, it was no different from death's eye swinging down on his head. A bone-chilling cold pierced through his marrow, causing a fear of death to envelop his entire body. His whole frame trembled violently, and he wanted to scream for help, but his mouth had barely opened. No matter how hard he tried, he could not make a single sound. He could only watch helplessly as the palm landed, after which he lost consciousness completely. Everyone only saw Lai Yunxiao casually strike out a palm, as gentle as brushing dust off his clothes. It carried no momentum whatsoever, yet Chengyan was sent flying like a deflated ball, vanishing from sight. In an instant, he had been knocked away, his entire body limp as he lay motionless on the ground. Talons fell. The entire tavern descended into a deathly stillness. Extreme shock appeared in Lai Qingyan's eyes. He suddenly realized he had misjudged Lai Yunxiao's strength once again. It seemed that no matter how much he raised his estimate, it still wasn't enough. Brother Cheng. Brother Chengyan, get up already. Pay, Brother Cheng, stop playing dead, get up. After the initial shock, Yuan Zillang still refused to believe it. He worked over, crouched down, and slapped Chengyan a few times, finally confirming that the other had completely stopped breathing. He looked at Lai Yunxiao in horror and said tremulously, You actually dared to kill someone from 10,000 Star Valor. Lai Yunxiao sneered in response. So what if I killed him? Yuan Zillang gritted his teeth and said, killing someone from 10,000 Star Valley is no different from having one foot in the gates of hell. A cold glint flashed in Lai Yunxiao's eyes, and he said gloomily, if I'm going to enter the gates of hell sooner or later anyway, then I might as well kill someone from Red Moon City too, just to make it a complete set. The killing intent on his body suddenly exploded fiercely, locking directly onto Yuan Zillang, causing Yuan Zillang to tremble all over in an instant, as if facing a live flaming ghost. His teeth chattered uncontrollably, and he said in a shaky voice, Sev, stop right there. If you kill me too, there really will be no way out for you. Right now, it's just a bit of trouble. Although you killed Chengyan, that was legitimate self-defense. In terms of both logic and reason, it can be overlooked. Everyone here saw it. He hurriedly turned to look at the people following him and said, isn't that right? Yes, that's right. No mistake, it was completely self-defense. We saw it all with our own eyes. This was Chengyan's fault. He lacked the ability yet loved to show off, and in the end, he brought it on himself. The sons of noble families with him had minds that spun as fast as weathercocks, and they immediately chimed in unison. Jiang Yuobin could not hide the look of disappointment in her eyes. Although she despised Yuan Zillang, he still represented Red Moon City. She hadn't expected that Yuan Zillang, who usually acted serious and composed, would lack even a shred of manly character when things went south. Yuan Zillang looked frantically toward Jiang Yuobin standing nearby and pleaded for help. Relative, I'm your cousin. Quickly, say a few words to your friend for me. It's all just a misunderstanding. Really just a misunderstanding as tiny as a sesame seed. Since Nguyen Tu Lang was still her cousin after all, Jiang Yuobin had to speak up. Did Brother Yunxiao, let this matter end here. If it escalates further, I fear it will be very difficult to clean up. Chengyan's situation is already troublesome enough. Hearing this, Nguyen Tu Lang immediately chimed in. It's fine, it's real fine. With us acting as witnesses, this won't be considered a big deal. Even the 10,000 Star Valley must be reasonable. In this world, one must follow logic wherever they go. Both the 10,000 Star Valley and Red Moon City belonged to the 7 superpower forces and held equal status. Chengyan, as one of the 5 heroes of the Western region, might not have been the strongest disciple of the 10,000 Star Valley, but he was certainly cherished like a treasure. This disaster was truly about to pierce the heavens. However, seeing Lai Yunxiao's composed manner as if nothing had happened, she finally understood what Luo Qingyan had said. In all of Red Moon City, the only person who would dare to help her escape was likely this mysterious man before her. Looking back at Nguyen Tu Lang, a surge of unprecedented disgust rose in her heart. She coldly waved her hand and said, all of you, dead lust right now. Seeing you makes me want to vomit. Nguyen Tu Lang forced an awkward and unsightly smile, quickly replying, then I won't disturb you all any longer. Cousin, continue to have a good time. These friends of yours aren't bad. They are all talents worth befriending. He quickly turned around to slip away, but deep in his eyes flashed a fierce flame of malice, his face contorted like a vengeful boast. It was clear that he was driven mad with hatred in his heart for having completely lost face. But at the very moment, he suddenly froze like a stone statue, because someone had abruptly appeared in front of him, crouching down to check Cheng Yun's condition without anyone noticing when they had arrived. Nguyen Tu Lang's eyes widened, and immediately after, he was as overjoyed as if he had scored a life-saving straw, shouting, "Uncle Hangfeng." This man was the one who had suppressed Pei Ji earlier. He was clearly a martial emperor expert, and certainly no ordinary one. As soon as his backing appeared, Nguyen Tu Lang's expression changed instantly as he accused, "Uncle Hangfeng, this person has no regard for the rules at all. He killed brother Cheng Yun. I hope you will capture him and hand him over to the 10,000-star valet to handle, so as to prevent friction between our two sects over this matter." Yuo Qingyun's face darkened immediately as he shouted softly, "Lai Yingxiao, leave quickly." Hearing this, Zhang Yuobing was also extremely furious. She hurriedly explained, "Uncle Haifeng, it was because Cheng Yun wanted to kill my friend first that he brought this fatal disaster upon himself. Nguyen Tu Lang, you are truly so shameless that even ghosts would shake their heads. Just a moment ago, you said yourself that you would stand as a witness for big brother Yingxiao." Meanwhile, Lai Yingxiao felt something was wrong. The great cloud wind palm he had just casually used might have been recognized by Ning Hanfeng. After all, many souls in Red Moon City had died by that move years ago. Nguyen Tu Lang's face turned beet red as he said awkwardly, "I only did that to stabilize him, to prevent him from taking the chance to escape. Otherwise, how would we explain ourselves to the 10,000-star valet later? This cousin of yours only wants what's best for Red Moon City. As for my own safety, I stopped caring about it long ago. Let's see how you all die today." He went on and on about morality and righteousness, finally glaring with venomous eyes, when at that moment, a hand reached out in front of him. Then, it directly grabbed him by the neck and tossed him aside like a bag of trash. Only then did Ning Hanfeng slowly stand up, his eyes shining like lightning as he stared intently at Lai Yingxiao. Seeing this, Zhang Yuobing immediately said in a panic, "Uncle, you really can't blame big brother Lai for this." Ning Hanfeng slowly worked up to Lai Yingxiao, his expression extremely solemn, each word he spoke weighing as heavy as a mountain. "The great cloud wind palm, where did you learn this martial art?"